Okay, good
Yeah,
stuff.
perfect. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, well, cool. So we'll kick off. Thanks very much for your time. How's it been, by the way, over this period for you?
I'm not going to lie, it's been horrendous. And obviously, this is not putting anything against the bigger picture and coronavirus or anything, but it's had a massive impact on my life.
Yeah.
And I think for most young people as well, it's been really, really hard. Anyone who's involved in sport has been hit, like, not only because you can't do the sport, but it's been hit, sort of if you're involved with it, like watching, supporting, all those little things. So I work in sport and events. So my two biggest work have gone like, that's it. And the fact is that we have no idea when this is going to stop as well. It's really hard to mess with your brain, because we just, we have plans in life, and we kind of have goals, and we like to know what we're leading up to. So the fact we've got no end really, or we just don't know, has been really, really hard to for me personally. I find it really tough. I've got two little ones as well, a 10 and a 6-year-old I've got a homeschool, and it's been really, really difficult. But all perspectives, there are some people in a lot worse situations. So we got to be grateful for what we've got and appreciate the stuff that we have got. So yeah, that's the most important thing.
I can see your mental toughness and good attitude coming through already, Gail. And just for those students who are here on the call, we're not having a presentation today. We're going to keep it quite informal. But this is well, Gail, I'll let you introduce yourself in a second, but Friday bonus, guys. We've done Monday to Thursday with our employability skills. This is another bonus session for us where we get to interview someone a little bit different, who you might not normally have access to. And we're gonna kick off with Gail today. So Gail, you're an MBE.
I am.
Can you just let young people know a little bit more about you, please, and what you've done in your career, I suppose?
Well, way before your time. So pretty much now, making me feel really old now. But I used to be a badminton player. So my career, I was a professional sports person. I've went to 2 Olympic Games. I managed to win a silver medal in Athens 2004. I've been world champion, European champion, Commonwealth Games champion, world number 1. So pretty much everything in badminton, I've pretty much done it, apart from that Olympic gold. So my role now is I go around to schools, go around to universities, go around to businesses, and I talk about my sporting journey, because I've been retired for 11 years now, and I've learned a lot from looking back, reflecting about why I managed to get, where I was. Because believe me, I was not the most naturally talented person at all at my sport. Wow. But there were other things that kind of helped me to get to where I was. I got told that I wasn't going to be good enough over and over and over and over again. So again, this is what I talked about with for young people, and for CEOs of big companies as well. We talk about this. And how the brain is the powerful tool. It's stronger than your body. So yeah, that's what I do now. And I love talking about the sport. I've got my medals here. So I've got my Olympic silver medal here. So there it is. So that's a real one.
How heavy is that, Gail?
Oh, it's really heavy. It's very worn out. So that's what it is, because it's been around lots of bars to try and get free drinks out of it. And and then this is my world championship gold. So, to be like number 1 in the world is very, very special. So yeah, I've got these here. And yes, I kind of like talking about those moments. And I think it's important for people to kind of pick brains of people that have done this stuff, because otherwise, it's go to waste.
Yeah, absolutely. Gail, thanks so much. And MBE, what does that mean? And what happened as part of that process?
Well, an MBE means that I'm a member of the British Empire, which is very nice. It's something that I wasn't really aware of. It's not something that was, it wasn't my goal to set out to be an MBE, but you get awarded it from the Queen. So you have to be nominated. Someone writes a letter, and they look through all the people that have done, have achieved things in their life. And you go to Buckingham Palace, and you have to dress up very smart, and you get asked in, and you go, oh, Gail Ems is awarded the MBE for services to badminton. And you go in, and my mum and dad and my other half are there. And, for me, I think it's a very humbling experience, because as a sports person, you just train all day, and you do it because you just do it because that's what you want to do, and you don't really think about these other things. But it's so nice to be appreciated by someone like the Palace. And I was there with lots of amazing people, who've done loads of charity work, who have inspired people. And you know what, it's you know, for my mum and dad to be in Buckingham Palace, to see their daughter Gail, you know, get an MBE, it's, yeah, very, very proud moment for my family.
That's amazing. And Gail, we'll come back to your history in a second, but you mentioned there training all day and why you do it. Do you think that you did it because you had an amazing talent and like a goal to work towards and you didn't want to let yourself down? Is that why you just kept doing it, so to speak? Do you feel like you almost had to? I wonder.
There's different emotions, so that question will change. The answer to that question will change all the way through my life. So why I did it to start with, so why did I start training when I was like 11 or 12 years old is very different to why I started carried on training at 27, 28 years old. So you know what, the first time I started training, it's because I loved it. I absolutely loved getting better at something. And I know it sounds so simple to say, but the more you practice, the better you get. You know, and sport, you can see that. So if you practice more, you get better. And those little things, when you're growing up, builds your confidence massively. To see yourself getting better is one of the best things. You know, your shoulders go back, your head goes up, you're like, yeah, I'm good at this, I can do this, you know, I'm getting better. And that's for me with what inspired me when I was a youngster.
And when did you realise that you were quite good at it?
I knew I was pretty good about 7 because I entered a tournament for 11-year-olds, and I'm tiny. I'm only 5'3", so you can imagine at school I was always the smallest one in the class. I remember rocking up to this tournament, and all these 11-year-olds were like, "Oh my God, who she thinks she is? You know, she's only 7." And I got to the final, and I remember all these girls who were a lot bigger than me, and I went, I think I'm all right at this. So yeah, I kind of knew that I had something about me.
The age of 7. I've got a question here for one of our students. What kept you motivated despite everyone saying that maybe saying no to you, and they asked about the hours of training you put in as well?
Yeah, I think one of my biggest motivators is proving people wrong. I think I'm very stubborn. And it's not everyone's motivation, okay? So when I say it's for me, I like proving people wrong. That's great for me and it works for me. It doesn't work for every athlete, and it's finding what works for you is the most important thing. But I think growing up, my mum was a footballer. So my mum was a women's footballer for England. She was one of the first lionesses. Wow. So my mum grew up with a lot of guys telling her, giving her abuse to play football. That girls don't play football, and she was banned from the FA for going to play for England and stuff like that because girls weren't deemed suitable to play football. And she had this real sort of obstacles in her way. So she taught me that no matter what, there's always a way round. So no matter what obstacle, if someone says you're not good enough, it's up to you to decide if you want to accept that or do something about it. And my mum was very like, I'm going to show them. And I think I sort of took that on board as well. So, I grew up, all these boys going, I'm not playing her, she's a girl. And I was like, right, bring it on. And then I go on court and then I beat them and then, shut them up. And I love that feeling of going, you thought I was rubbish and look what just happened to you. So I love doing that. And I love that kind of feeling of going, So I think that's what kind of kept me going. And there's lots of people will have opinions about you. We all have opinions about a footballer. So we're watching a football team and we'll all have opinion, who we think was the best, who we think was rubbish, because that's it's subjective. It's our opinion. So it's just whether you accept that or what you do about it. When I was 18, so I'd done really well in juniors. I was in the England junior team. And when I was 18, I got called into the office of the head guy of badminton. This is all deciding of who was going to get money to go and get funded to become, go on to the Olympic Games and everything. So I was all cocky and arrogant. I went in there, I was like, I'm amazing, just, done this. And he went, well, Gail, we think you're a good badminton player, but you're not naturally talented. You're not naturally skillful. There's lots of shots in badminton you can't do. So we think you're limited. And we don't think you're going to be an Olympian, and we don't think you're going to go to a major championship. So we're not going to fund you.
Wow.
And I was like, I was 18 years old and I got told this, and I was like, oh, you know, this is someone very senior and, you know, expert in their field, and just told me that he thought, you know, I was pretty average. And I sort of walked away thinking, well, I wasn't expecting that.
Does that make you want to give up?
Yeah, I accepted it. I accepted his decision for 3 years. So I effectively did kind of give up. I played for fun. I went to university, actually. I scraped in and I did a sports science degree at Kingston. And I had a great time. I got my education. I met some amazing people. I was having the best time ever. But it was always something, you know, I'm a real feelings person. And there was always something in my heart that was thinking, I just want to see if I can have another go. And that's when I made that decision. I was like, you know what, I want to prove that guy wrong. And that's the start of the next stage. So sometimes we need these moments, we need these little setbacks in life, because that kicks us up the bum a little bit.
Is it sort of transferable, I suppose, to maybe failing in your GCSEs or your mocks, and then just thinking, no, I'm gonna relate and get back onto where I should be?
Totally. I can't, you know, only you know that feeling of, did you, you know, what, of every setback, it's like, well, it's like saying, did I, you know, not saying did I deserve it, but if you put 100% effort into it and you got that result, you can actually feel proud, because that's actually what you got, because you gave everything. That's your result. But it's funny, but it's this part of you that just thought, well, actually, I didn't really give all that, and I got this, and actually I know I can do a lot better. And someone's just told, you know, you have the power to choose. And only you know what it feels like. Do you feel gutted? Do you feel happy? Do you feel sad? You know, only you can have that control of what you do about it. And I think that's what was really important in me in sport, was like, I knew when I'd done my best and tried my hardest, and if I couldn't have done any more, then I couldn't have done any more. But there was often lots of times where I went, I could have put more effort in, or I could have trained harder, or you know, it's those little things, and only you can decide. No one can say that for you, because they don't know you. They're not inside you. You're you here.
You've got to be strong-minded. So you're at Kingston Uni. What was the light bulb moment to then chase the dream again? And how did you actually do it? Like, how did you manage to get there?
Right. This is probably the hardest moments, the hardest times in my life, probably. So I'd done my university, and I was a bit like, after uni, I didn't really know what I was going to do, whether it was get a job or whatever. And then I had this kind of vision of being, you know, sort of like, maybe I'll have a go at the badminton. So I entered this tournament. I found a couple of rackets. Wow. I turned up because I played this tournament because I heard there was a bit of prize money. I was like, oh, I need to pay my rent. So I turned up. I didn't win it, but I did okay, because I was so determined, because I needed this money, that I actually did really well. And I thought, hang a sec, I've just done well against the people that are supposed to be really, really, really good. And I've just rocked up, and I thought, okay, I'm going to make a decision. I'm going to train every day now to see if I can get to Sydney Olympics, which has been 2 years. Right. So that was my light bulb moment. I had no money. So I worked as a waitress and as a bar girl all evening. So, and then I train from 8 o'clock in the morning until 4, 5 o'clock in the evening, then go and do bar work and waitressing all night, and then do that over and over again, just to get money. Wow. To see if I could get funding to the tournament. So 2 years. So it was the hardest 2 years ever. Really, really was. But I couldn't, it was, you know, I had to make a decision. I had to take the control. No one was going to fund me. No one was going to give me that money. I had to go and get it. So that's why I think it was really important for me to do it. And when Sydney Olympics came along, so year 2000, I was 23 years old. To make it in the badminton, to go to the Olympic Games, had to be in the top 16 of the world ranking. So really, really tough. I finished 17th. No. So I missed out. So all that hard work. Wow.
And again, did you see the positives in that?
Not straight away. Not straight away, I can tell you that.
It's an amazing story to be able to get to that position again after going down another route, and maybe never getting that opportunity again.
Yes, but it took me a long time to think like that. like being punched in the stomach over and over again.
So
You know,
surely now you give up.
Threw my racket.
Surely now you give up.
Yeah, sensibly. Any sensible person would have just, you know, and I did give up, because I thought, well, I gave it a good go. And then I watched it on TV and I was like, why am I not there? I should be there. And again, only you know. So remember what I was talking about earlier. I knew I could still get better. So that's why I couldn't give up. And that's why you have to really be in tune with yourself. And I think that's one of the best things. So at 23 years old was the first time I went, I know I can get even better. And we talk about these 1%, 2%. That's all it takes, but that makes a huge difference. Because I went, right, 4 more years, I'm giving up my life and I'm going to go and get to the next one. But I have to push myself. So we all have our comfort zone. I have to go outside of my comfort zone every single day to push myself more and more and more and more. Work that bit harder. So yeah.
I wonder, would you say pushing yourself that hard, is it what percentage is it physical versus mental? Like you're obviously talented, like you're up there. Just give us a little bit of an insight into an elite sports person.
So anyone can hit a shuttle over the net. Okay. That's, that's a basic skill, but it's to be able to, it's that thought process of, I need to outwit this person. I need to be fitter, stronger, and want to die on that badminton court before, they're going to die before me. That is kind of the mindset you have to go. So you have to know that even though you are hurting and your lungs are like going to explode or your legs are like, you have to get this brain to tell your body that it's okay. Come on, you can keep going. And that's what it is. It's learning that your body wants to give up before your brain does. Oh no, so your brain wants to give up before your body does. And exactly. Our bodies are incredible. So that's what you've got to learn about yourself a lot. And our bodies are incredible. We can run marathons, we do Ironmans, all these things are, so use it, appreciate our, what we can do, what this can do and this can do. And together, if you get the two together, absolutely spot on, who knows what you can achieve.
And did you have some pretty dark, so you said, right, 4 years, I'm going to give up my life. Do you have to literally give up your life to get to that level?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah. It's within reason. We sort of look at Premier League footballers, we look at, sort of rugby, cricket players now, the professionalism in sport is ridiculous. The slightest thing they do wrong, that's it. They're all over the papers, whatever. And you know what? It's really hard because you have to, relationships, you can't really have a proper relationship with someone because you're traveling all the way around. Your family get to see you like now and again. Your best mates, I've missed weddings and, like best mates' birthdays. You can't party as much, you can't really drink the alcohol. You can't have fast food. Right. It's sacrifice. But you kind of twist it and say, well, it's that I'm actually compromising right now because I can do all this when I'm finished, or I can do this on my holiday. So for most of the time, I'm going to be professional because if I don't do this, I'm not going to win.
Right.
So that's the kind of thing, you have to think, if I want my goal, this is what I'm going to have to do.
Okay.
After that, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, go for it. No.
So I just want to really make that clear for those of us, because we all struggle, like on a Monday morning or when it's cold and wet, the average person. But in terms of, let's say let's say it's 6 a.m, you're getting out of bed, you're knackered, your body's screwed. What goes on in your head before that Athens 2004? What goes on in your head to get you out of bed and do it?
So just to, again, you've hit it spot on. I don't love training. I didn't love pushing my body this hard. I love winning. Okay. Now, because I love winning, I need to train. So that's why I kind of say that in my head. I don't love training. I do it because I need to win. And that's what gets you out of bed. If I do not do that training, I'm not going to win and someone else is going to win. And I don't want someone else to win. I want to win. So that, you know, and imagery is really powerful. So that I used to imagine myself on that podium with a medal around my neck, and that is what got me around. And that feeling when you've done it, oh my God, it's like the best feeling. You know, when you've like, you don't want to go for a run and you're like, oh, I don't want to go, I don't want to go. And then you do it and you come back, you're like, I feel amazing.
Yeah.
And you feel really proud of yourself as well.
Yeah.
That being proud of yourself is the best feeling, you know. It is, you know, you're like, I did it, you know. It's like you just want to, you know, walk around like that because you're like, oh, I did that's why I did it, because I used to love that endorphin and that feeling of like, yeah, I can do this.
And we'll come on to Athens in a second. I've just got a couple of questions here. One from Maria. What do you think you would be doing now if you hadn't got back into it?
Oh my gosh, that's a really, I honestly don't know. There were loads. Sport has saved me in so many different ways. Sport saved me at school because I am, as you can probably tell, I'm quite a competitive, feisty person. So if I hadn't done sport at school, I don't know what I'd have done. It was that play. It was my place. So the answer is I don't know. And you know, it's not a bad thing for not knowing.
No.
I'm sure I'd have found my way somewhere, but I honestly, I don't.
You weren't
probably
thinking
in some office somewhere.
You weren't thinking plan B by the sounds of things.
I did have a plan B, so I made sure I got some education.
Right.
That's the only plan B. So I did have something behind me. So I did my GCSEs, and I like I said, scraped into uni and stuff, and I made, you know, I did that. But there was no real vision of plan B. It was, I'm just taking it, you know, just going along with it. So and I do, you know, sort of recommend having plan Bs and plan Cs as well. Plan Cs are often very good sometimes as well, because, you know, we just don't know what life is going to throw at us. So yeah, I honestly don't know, but yeah.
That's fine. No, thanks, Gail. Another question. How do you set your goals? What tips do you have? Goal setting.
Okay, so goal setting is like it's different from everyone. Okay, so the biggest thing is about what works for you, and it has to work for you, right? So some people, they love a big goal, so they love, you know, sometimes I'm talking with someone, they're like, yes, I want to be world champion, and you're like, brilliant, okay. Right, and they're 14 years old and you're like, brilliant, I love you. So they have really, really big goals, and then we break it down into these little tiny steps and everything like that. Now for some people, having a really big goal like that is really scary, so I wouldn't even go there. You know, I said, oh, do you want to be an Olympian? And they're like, oh, you know, it's too much for them. So I would sort of firstly ask yourself what feels right, what's right for you. Is a big, really big goal, like 10 years in the future, really appealing? Or if not, let's break it down to 10 months. What do you want to do in 10 months? And then you just sort of work out where, and it is like a little ladder, little steps and little steps here. So you start here and then went to here and here and here. The most important also thing about goal setting is make them achievable. Okay, so don't go and start you know, putting goal settings, you know, that's such big steps that it's actually really hard to achieve, and when you don't achieve, you just feel really, really down about it. Have these little goals, little goals, little goals, little goals. Also have goals where it might not go that way, it might go wee, and it might go all over the place. Okay, because life will throw stuff at us, you know, that's what happens in life. So make sure your goals are adaptable as well. So don't, they're so set in stone, that's it, and if you don't achieve that bit, it will go to plot. So be honest with yourself, have a lovely, you know, sort of think, really sit down. It's going to take a lot of time. This, it's not something you just like can plan out in, you know, 10 minutes. Think about it, what works for you, and have that really lovely, nice curve of goals that can go wherever you want it to, and make sure they can change as well.
Brilliant. Thanks, Gail. Good advice. One question here, which is an interesting one, I suppose. What would you have done if you were basically training over COVID-19 on lockdown like now, especially unable to play team games and train like normal?
Oh, do you know what? Firstly, I'd be going crazy. Again, so athletes, we have a saying in sport, it's about controlling the controllables, okay? So it's nothing you can do about COVID. It's happening. and no one else is playing without you. So athletes have a real FOMO. They're like, oh, you know, especially when we're injured and everyone else is playing, we're like, oh no, it's not fair. But the thing is, it's happening to everyone. So it's about being, again, I keep using the word adaptable, but it's about adapting to the situation you're in. And this is being really positive about it. So, okay, you can't go out and train with your teammates, but what can you do? So looking around your house, looking around your flat, looking in your garden, whatever you've got, and then being really, really smart about it. So for me, I'm very lucky I've got a garden. So I've been outside in the garden, got a little circuit planned out. And I also live quite near some countryside, so I've been going for a little run and doing that. So that's what I've been doing. And every single athlete will be doing exactly the same, getting loads of support from their sports scientists and their fitness trainers and their coaches, you know, just trying to keep that positivity about it all. And yeah, like I say, keeping as fit as you can. No one is going to be in peak fitness when they come out. If you're an Olympian or a Premier League football, no one is. But you know what? Everyone's doing, as the best they can. That's all you can ask.
We've got to do it. Yeah, actually, out of interest, as an elite athlete, do you, when you retire, do you continue, or is it always in your blood, or are you like, no, I don't want to train anymore?
Everyone's different. I challenged myself in different ways. So I didn't want to be on a badminton court anymore, but I still love fitness, and I think it's really good for my brain. So I love, I think it's really important for my mental health to be exercising. So I like being strong. As a girl, I like being strong, and I think I've got 2 boys, and I like them seeing a strong female. I think it's really important, that role model thing. So I do lots of circuits and boxing, and I play golf, and I go running. So I do all sorts, only because I love it. And like I say, it's personal. But I know athletes who have just gone, no, not doing anything anymore, and they just, like, you know, enjoyed life and may have put on a bit of weight from it. So again, it's you, what feels right for you. But exercise bins, I love it. So
what about your old partner, badminton partner, Nathan Roberts?
Nathan, he is coaching, actually. So he coaches the under-19 England team in badminton. He's a brilliant coach. I never found my way with coaching. I'm not a natural coach. So coaching is a skill, just like teaching. And for me, I was a bit like, no, it's not really me. So Nathan's doing brilliantly on that.
That's good. I've got a question here saying, because you mentioned that you weren't maybe the most naturally gifted, which is quite an honest thing to say. They're saying here, were there any other sports you wanted to try out?
So I was actually a very good hockey player. So at school, we was a hockey school. So we were like the best. I'm from Bedford, and our school were like the best in the whole Bedfordshire and then Eastern region and everything like that. So I was, you know, because I was quite strong as well and had hand-eye coordination, so I was a very, very good hockey player. And that was the choice between, well, to be honest, I was in every bloody team at school. So, you know, but hockey was kind of like, because we were so good as a team, and then badminton. And I just sort of like, again, I wasn't naturally talented at hockey. I was just that strong. You know, I'd just go in for that crunching tackle. You know, I wasn't afraid of it. You know, I've got scars all over my head, and, you know, sort of broken fingers and everything from it. And some other girls have had a few broken noses off me and stuff. But, I was that kind of person. So, I think sport, I never had any like sort of coaching. It was just my personality that kind of got me through the sport. And to give you some, and when I say I'm not naturally talented at badminton, so if you think of someone like Roger Federer at tennis, you know, he's got that beautiful style, so it's really natural. So try and think of that kind of way, you know, sort of that real glide. So Messi, Ronaldo, you know, beautiful talent. It's all just silky, silky, silky. That wasn't me. So if you think of someone like a bit like a James Milner, all right, you know, someone like a bit of a workhorse who was just like tough, solid, and was really fit and strong. And I was really strong here. So actually I worked really well. So Nathan is that naturally talented person, and I was that, come on, you know, sort of like feisty one. So that's why it's kind of, you don't have to be, that's what I'm really passionate about. People think, oh, you can't do this skill, you can't do that shot, and I'm like, no, I can do it. It's loads of shots in badminton I can't do, but I can hit it really hard, and I'm really strong, and I'm really fast. So it's all about understanding, yes, we all have weaknesses, no one is perfect, but it's working your way around it. So really maximizing your strength and working with people that can help you, and you fit in and find your place. I found my place with Nathan.
That's so funny, Gail, because we work with a company called Capfinity, and they've given our students a free strength test. So students know what they're technically good at, and maybe where their weaknesses are, and how to just play towards those strengths and say, I'm good at this, and this is what I'm about.
Perfect. Love it. Yeah. So my coach. Oh,
no, go for it. No, go for it, please.
So my coach. So there's nothing worse than being told how rubbish you are at something. Like if you go walk in and your coach or your teacher goes, oh, you were rubbish at this. Right? You're gonna sit down there and you're gonna practice it over and over again. You're like, all right. Hi, good morning. Thanks for that. So my coach is brilliant, because I would walk in and he would go, right, Gail, start off the day with what I'm good at, which is whacking shuttles, right? So he would literally, I'll be like, whacking shuttles. And then after that, he'd go, right, what would you like to practice? So he always made me, he gave that choice to me. Do I want, and he never said, right, we're going to practice this. It's like, what would you like to work on? And some days I wanted to work on my weaknesses. Some days I didn't want to go near them. So again, it's understanding how you work and having that power to go, you know what, I want to work on this shot because I wasn't very good at it the other day. So yeah, that is something which is really good. Practice your weaknesses when you're feeling good, because there's nothing worse than practicing when you're not feeling good. It will not help whatsoever. So always start with your strengths, and then decide if you're in the right frame of mind to practice your weaknesses.
Even Olympians are humans, right? To be honest.
We're not superhuman.
So I want to get onto this, and so we'll talk about Athens soon. But you've done world champs, you've done Commonwealth, you've done Europeans, and of course Olympics. Is the Olympics extra special, or are they all special in their own right?
I think because the Olympics, I grew up watching it as a kid, and it's not just the badminton; it is every sport, and I think that is why the Olympics to me is something special. My first memory was when I was 15 years old, and I watched Barcelona 1992 Olympics, and I because of the time, it was perfect time. I remember just watching the TV like that, going, oh, whoa, it was on every, and I was watching sports I'd never even heard of. It didn't matter, because it was just like, this is amazing. And people were like punching and kicking and swimming and running. And I thought, this is the best thing ever. So when you've had that emotion of watching every single sport, and when you go to an Olympic Games, so get my tracksuit here, so you get the Team GB tracksuit, you're part of a very elite group of people. So I'm one of 6,500 people to have ever represented Great Britain at an Olympic Games.
Wow.
So, and when you go in there, you see all the countries around, so in Athens, there was, my roommate in Athens was Amir Khan, the boxer. And you're sort of talking like, there's so superstars over there, there's people you've heard, but everyone's together. And it's everyone kind of looks at each other, you're all Olympians, which is incredible. Beijing, my flatmate was Andy Murray. I sat next to Messi, having breakfast with Messi in the dining room. See Usain Bolt just walking around, but it doesn't matter. You are part of something incredible. So I think with that, the Olympics will always be something very, very special in my heart.
That's amazing. So Athens 2004 silver medal. Just talk us through some of the emotions and some of the, well, I guess memories of that tournament.
So Athens, myself and Nathan were ranked number 4 in the world going into Athens. So we were an outside chance of a medal. So we kind of in our head thought we might get bronze. With a bit of luck, we actually ended up in the Olympic final. So we walked out to the Olympic final. We were up against China. Now, if you don't know much about badminton, China are really, 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 really good. They're very, very good. 100 million people in China play badminton.
Wow.
So, and the people we played against, they were gold medalists in Sydney as well. So we knew that we were the underdogs massively. And we walked out and people just turned up, like these random people who'd never seen badminton before, but Great Britain athlete, fans had just turned up and they were like singing Barmy Army and all these we were like, oh my gosh, we've never had this before in badminton. And it was brilliant. I remember just thinking the crowd was so noisy. We went out there, we got absolutely thrashed in the first game. Like I couldn't even see the shuttle. The guy was smacking it over 200 miles an hour at my head. And then second game, we got back into it. We won that one. And then in third, we were winning. And then, you just one of those, they got back into it and we were 3 points away from the gold medal. So we ended up with silver.
Wow. Well, and what's it like going into a final knowing you've already got that silver medal? Like, it must be so hard not to get excited. Or maybe not.
Yeah, and it is hard. Yeah, but you sort of you don't think about it. It's quite nice that I've got a medal. So no matter what happens, I have a medal. But the trouble is when you stand on that podium, bronze are like, woo, we didn't come fourth. Gold are like, woo, we're gold. And silver like, yeah. So I didn't feel happy. I stood on that podium, and because we were so close to gold, I actually just went, not happy with this. I want gold. That's how I felt.
Wow. No, I guess that doesn't. And then you went back to 2008, didn't you? You were with Andy Murray. You said you shared a room with him. And then was that the last tournament you
shared
played?
A flat. I didn't share a room with him. Can we just before any rumours start going
around? And that was the last tournament, wasn't it? That you played, or?
Yeah. So after Athens, that silver spurred us on to win, Commonwealths, Europeans, World Championships. So we were winning because, like I said, you have those little steps and those spur of the moments where you just go right, the next thing.
Yeah.
So we were winning everything. And Beijing, I knew it was going to be my last one. I've just mentally, physically, I'm naturally quite strong and everything, and I could have carried on, but mentally, I was getting a bit. I wanted to see what else I could do in the world. I was getting a bit over it. And it was getting very, very stressful. Understandably, elite sport, it's not all about, it's quite relentless. There's lots of pressure on you, and I was just getting a little bit, So I knew that was going to be it. So, we had the mindset, gold medal or nothing. That's what we wanted to do. And then it just doesn't always go to plan that way.
No.
The first round we had was the gold medal favourites, so we were like, oh great, the first round in Beijing we had the Chinese gold medal favourites, who like the poster pair of everywhere. So we had them first round, and we had the most dramatic game, and we ended up beating them. So we were like, oh my god, we've beaten the favourites, this is it, we're going to go get the gold. But in the quarterfinals we were up against Korea, and we beat them before, so we were really confident. Went onto court and we played brilliantly. We played absolutely brilliantly. But the Koreans played better and they beat us. So my official placing in Beijing is 5th. And I came off court and, obviously devastated, crying my eyes out, the whole lot. But I can honestly say that was my gold medal, because I couldn't have done any more.
No.
I was the best I could be.
Yeah.
And actually, I feel quite proud that I could retire. I retired. That was my last match, because I didn't have that feeling of, I can still get better, I can still do more, because I just went, that is me.
I'm done.
I am done. I'm happy. I'm proud. I am, I don't have that nagging. There's no nagging here. It was like, I got beaten by someone, and they went on to win the gold medal. So I got beaten by the gold medalist. There was no, I should have done this, or I could have done that better. Nah. No. That's it. So
that's brilliant. And I've got a couple of questions here. Nav, who's been asking it. Sorry, Nav, for taking a while. He plays cricket for a major county, and also is on the way to be a professional cricketer at county level if all goes well. What would 1 or 2 things that you'd recommend to becoming an international sports player? How to generate that self-belief?
Oh, that's a really, really good question. Self-belief. Okay, so right, to do a quick version of self-belief. So every athlete, okay, and you will have this for your whole life, and this is all about learning. So what you are now will change as you get older and you mature and you learn more about yourself. But every athlete has two things that they need to really be aware of. One of them is the fear, and one of them is trust. Okay, so fear and trust. And I want you to think about those two things. So understanding that fear, this is all about your insecurity. So when you're feeling, I can't do it, I'm not good enough, that person said I'm rubbish, that's your fear. But you don't want your fear levels to be too high. So what you need to do is counterbalance that out with trust. And this is where self-belief comes in. So we need to learn about trusting yourself. So have you done your training? Have you done your practice? How are you feeling? Trusting the people around you, trusting your team, your coaches, even people like your friends and family, having that really good trust in people that motivate you and inspire you. And this is what helps you with self-belief to become wherever you are going to achieve in your sport. So what you don't want is if your fear gets too high, you need this to come back up again to lower that. So I want you to start thinking about those two things. I don't know how you personally, so I'm just going to say all I can get you to do is be aware of these two. And this will help you with self-belief. If that gets too high, it's not going to happen. So have a think about all those people around you who can help you with that self-belief. Trust yourself. Trust this, trust your body. Okay. You do that, you get that trust going really well, then you'll be on the right path. And I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, thanks, Gail. And if it didn't, or you want to continue, Nav, do put up your hand and you can speak to Gail one-to-one. That's absolutely fine. Ryan has said, how different do you think your career would have been if you grew up amongst this generation? I mean, is it more competitive now? Less competitive? I don't know.
I think, right, so two things. I still would have had the obstacles put in my way because I still would have been classed not good enough. Okay. So what we have in sport is we have these pathways. You might have heard of them, performance pathways. In every sport, it's like a tick box. Do you tick that box? Yes, you can go on the next pathway. So I would still not have ticked those boxes because I wouldn't have had that skill or whatever. The other way that would have changed, no, I think I would have had the same career. I really do. I don't think anything would have been different. I think because I still maximized my strengths and I still managed to go around the box, I still managed to achieve. And I can't think of anything that would have changed. The only thing that would have been a bit more different is like the whole social media and brand marketing stuff, which is kind of, at the side of sport. I probably would have earned a lot more money, definitely, if I was playing now. There's loads of money in my sport now. Now I'm, finished. So the only thing that would be a bit different was that I would have been richer. So yeah.
Well, maybe
we can, too early, obviously.
Maybe we can make Tris rich, because he's asked, how did you make your way up to the nationals team? I'm quite passionate about badminton and always been, but what do you think the first step would be for someone like me?
Play tournaments. That is the only thing I can tell you, because then you need to know where your level is. So play a tournament in your area, and then the great thing about badminton is that if you beat somebody, you're better than them, and it's quite easy to gauge where you are. So that's the first thing I suggest do. So play a couple of tournaments and then work out, so why were they better than you? Is it fitness? Is it a bit of coaching, technical? I would sort of join group if you can, to find a good badminton club or anything like that, especially where there's people with coaching as well, so you can just start those improvements. But yeah, first of all, find a club, find a tournament, and just gauge where you are in the kind of the sense of the standard. And then, like I say, it's all about a goal setting. So if you're going to win a small tournament, then you can go into a bigger tournament, and so on and so on.
Brilliant. Thanks, Gail. That's so interesting. Guys, any more questions, do feel free to ask. We've been 45 minutes already. Gail, normally on a Friday, we try and keep them to 45 minutes. So I'll see if there's any more. No, but it's been great. It's flown by. I don't know about you. I'll see if there's any more questions from anyone, but I just wonder, Gail, you say you do stuff in schools at the moment. I just wonder if there's any sort of advice you have for young people, you know, trying to go out there and achieve their sporting or career dreams. Is there anything that you often say in schools, I wonder?
Yes, there's a few things that my few, I guess, takeaway points are. So the first thing I have to say is, like, when you fail at something, it's not failing, okay? Never, no one fails, but we use this word failing. Oh, I didn't get this grade, I failed, or I didn't get this, I failed. It's not failing at all. It's actually learning. And that's a big thing for, I say, you know, always say in schools, I have lost more matches than I have won, okay? Wow. And I managed to go and get Olympic medals, and I was world number 1. So try and think about that mindset. I have lost more badminton matches than I've won, but every time I lost or failed or whatever, I learned. So you learn the most when you lose, because you can get better from it. If I've won, you know, yay. What do I learn from it? You can learn so much more from, you know, can I get better? What do I need to improve on? How can I do better next time? These are all the things that you can learn in that mindset. So that's number 1. Number 2 is there's no such thing as being perfect, okay? There's no such thing. I was world number 1 and I've never, ever played the perfect badminton match, okay? I've always made mistakes, all right? It's normal, we're human. So please, you know, don't think about this perfection thing, you know, and don't compare yourself to anyone else. In sport, we get compared all the time, like, oh, you're the next so-and-so, and oh yeah, you can be like them. Well, actually, I don't want to be like them. I want to be me. And I can't be like them because she's 5 inches taller than me and she plays a completely different style of play. So why am I wanting to be like them? I can't be like them. So you cannot be someone else. You are you. So make the best you, you know, and that's really important. We are inundated with images and, you know, people's opinions of, oh, they're so much better, or they're so beautiful, or they're so, you look at their body and, oh, they're so strong. You know what? Leave them to it. You know, you can't be them, so don't compare yourself, or just focus on you and how to get the best of you. And I think that's something that's really, really powerful. And there was one other thing which has just gone out of my mind, but I've probably talked about those 2 things anyway. They're probably the most important things anyway.
It might come back to you, Gail, because I've got one more.
It might do.
I've got one more question here. Nikhil, I play a lot of badminton players apparently here. This is great. I play badminton a lot, but a lot of people I play against have better shoes and rackets than me.
Okay.
What would you say would make the most important thing I would need to get to help me get better?
Right. Okay. So shoes are important because you need that ankle stability, and I think you can get some good badminton shoes. Look around on eBay, okay, and you can get some, you know, like do sort of hunt around or ask someone. You know, there's so many people in clubs that probably buy 2 or 3 pairs and don't actually use them, or they've gone on to the next model. Don't be afraid to ask for help on this matter as well. Racket, you can do okay with a racket. Again, second-hand racket, it's about stringing. Again, ask for some help. Please, may I borrow a racket? Does anyone have a racket that I can, you know, sort of borrow off them, or, you know, buy off them secondhand? They're not going to be that big a deal, okay, for you, in terms of the bigger picture. It's what you do with them, okay? So if you can find someone, and like I say, don't be afraid to ask for some help. If you can get that pair of shoes that feel good and get that racket that feels good as well, then you know what? Get that shuttle over the net more times than your opponent. That is the most important thing to do. So yeah, that's what you need to focus on. Be the strong one, be the fast one, be that mentally tough one, and everyone will start wanting to play doubles with you and to lend rackets and shoes with you.
That's so good. Thanks, Gail. And just one more thing. I think this is a persistent question. Maybe we want to hit it nail on. One more question. How do you cope with nervousness? I think this was someone who was saying that they get a bit nervous in competitive sports.
Well, firstly, nerves are completely normal. Okay. Any person who tells you that they don't get nervous before a football match, you know, the Premier League footballer or Olympian, they're lying. Okay. It's your body's natural response, right? So nerves. Firstly, you're not abnormal for getting nervous, okay? You are completely normal. So the body, you've got all this adrenaline running through you, okay? Now, I had 3 different states of nervousness, right? My first one would be like, I'd be like, you know, so I've been bouncing and bouncing and bouncing and bouncing, and you know, everyone's like, oh my god, you know. And then
Gail's
my
nervous.
second one, Gail's nervous. The second one, so I got really angry and like, do not talk to me because I will punch you. And again, that was I was nervous, you know, that's my body. I didn't know what else to do with it. And the other one would be quite sleepy, so I had a kind of a bit of a form of narcolepsy, so I'd just be like there, you know, before a match going, you know, like I could fall asleep any second. So that is 3 very, very different ways of being nervous. I've thrown up before a match, you know, literally been physically sick right there before going onto court. So the best thing to do is accept it, okay? The more you fight nerves, the more the adrenaline comes in, because you're clenching up. It's about relaxing, and it's accepting I am nervous, okay? And if I'm nervous, my opponent is nervous, everyone else is nervous. And it's about sort of having that flow of thought, and then breathing and getting that trust. I can do this because I have done my work, I have done my training, and I've got a great support team around me. Smile, you know, we're really lucky to be in these situations. And you just sort of allowing that sort of the positivity thoughts going through you, suddenly you realise you're okay.
That's so good. Thanks, Gail. And I've just got one more question, but I think it's basically asking how they can get in touch with you with any more questions, maybe LinkedIn or Twitter or something like that.
Yeah, or by yourself. Yeah, I'm on social media, so if anyone wants to, or you know, go through you, Chris, I'm happy to. If there are other, you know, sort of other themes that are coming through, you know, get in touch with you. You can pass them on as well. So, you know, it's great that you're thinking about these sort of things and you're thinking about mindset. It's really, really important, and it's okay to be honest with yourself. It's good to have those moments, sit back and go, actually, yeah, I like, you know, it's okay to do this, and now's the perfect time to do that. We're in a very, very strange world right now, so it's a great time to think about what you want to do and how you're going to get there.
And that's self-development. That's such a good note to end on, I think, Gail. And the one thing I've really taken from this, there's been quite a few things, but it's just that mental strength and resilience that you clearly have and had to, you know, to get to where you got to.
Yeah, and I haven't been like this all the time, so I do have dips. You know, I'm not this you know, again, to make it clear, it's not like I wake up and go, yes, I'm mentally tough and I'm going to do this. You know, it's learning, okay, and that's why, you know, when we think it's a failure and we go down, and that's actually when you learn the most. So don't fight and sit back, enjoy it. Life is I'm going to quote Ronan Keating, life is a roller coaster, but life is like all over the shop. Same sport, education, anything where you think you're going to go that way, you'll end up going that way and that way and that way and that way. So it's just going, okay, accept it, it'll be okay. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks, Gail. Gail, brilliant insights. Thanks so much for giving up your time today. We really do appreciate it. And
no worries.
And stay safe over this period.
Yes, everyone else too. Thank you very much for having me anyway.
Thanks so much.
Cheers.
Okay,
bye.
Bye.